Hi, welcome to my next video. The first one was tricky to make, but I've spent more time on this one and I think I've learned things. So this time I'm going to be doing the Wes Anderson film Asteroid City. Hey, this is me from the future coming back and adding a little announcement to the video. If you stay till the end, you'll find out a little bit of information about the new host who will be joining me for the next few episodes. Stay till the end and you'll find out. Now enjoy the review. Now, I need to take a minute to talk about the director of this movie, Wes Anderson, and the inevitable style that this man has. For me personally, I only really enjoyed one of his previous movies, and that was Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's not that I can't appreciate his filmmaking, it's just that I can accept the visuals more when I think it's fantasy. I know the fox isn't real, and when he does something strange or unhuman-like, I'm a lot more comfortable with it than, say, if an actor is doing it. Things like set points for actors to blink distract me from the movie. If the funny claymation puppets blink weird, it's fine. I can accept that. I'm not trying to discredit the work and effort that must go into making these unhuman-like visuals. I think they look great. It just can be distracting. It's like looking at a piece of art in a gallery while a tour guide tells you its history. I can only choose to really appreciate each one on its own. Taking them both, I just find too much of a challenge. Now that could have something to do with my attention span. But it's an issue I have with his movies. Aside from that, however, I will continue to watch anything he decides to make. I mean, it stresses me out to watch, but I can appreciate it as art. However, I think I understand his style more now.
Oh my God. I get it.
I got your brother. Oh, no, you don't.
Asteroid City does enough for me that I can focus on both. The movie makes no attempts to stay grounded or be any less weird, which is exactly what I need when I watch his movies. Don't get me wrong, the story tracks and is well written. It's not crazy, I just need a scene every so often where an alien appears or the play starts to intertwine with the story, and it brings me back into the quirky world that he's creating, and out of the real world where I'm sitting in a cinema watching really weird visuals. There is one scene I'd like to highlight from the movie that I thought really particularly highlights his fantastic screenwriting with his quirky style the most. The 5 Brainiac kids are all sitting together trying to kill time during the quarantine. One of them suggests a game where they say a famous person or hero, and the next person says them again plus another name. This goes on for a while until everyone in the group has said one. By this point in the movie, it's clear the children are intelligent. The point isn't to highlight that. It is how they answer the questions. For example, one of them struggles for a second, and they all rush to answer for him, without really giving him a chance to answer. Not only does this demonstrate that the Brainiacs are not comfortable around slower or stupid people, but it also lets us know who the slowest of the group is. This is followed up quickly by him asking to play a different game, as he suggests this could go on forever. I believe this is just to hide his uncomfort with the game. None of them will be used to being the slowest, and he does not take it well. Having that bit of character revealment also leads to them making the game harder for Woodrow, demonstrating his level of intelligence by making him do the list backwards. It really makes no surprise when he is awarded the money for the best invention by the end. He's shown many times to be gifted, but this shows talents above the rest of the Brainiacs. The scene also introduces one character's obsession with Scarlett Johansson's character, and allows us to see which character is the leader by having them initiate the game in the first place. All around is just a perfectly written scene that could easily be mistaken for a time filler, but actually gives you so much information. Doing so in a way that you don't need to give them each an individual scene. It can be done in so much simpler form by just a good writer putting those characters together and giving them something to do. Given that great piece of screenwriting, there is something I find in a lot of movies that is just the screenwriter's 101 of do not put this in your movie, don't make characters say it, and it's for them to say verbally how they are feeling.
You can't just have your characters announce how they feel. That makes me feel angry.
The tools are there to express it through the cinematography, the score, or even in actors' self-performances. Just saying, I am sad because you did this, just never seems necessary. However, I think this movie can get a pass, as it appears the same view may be expressed by Wes Anderson himself. The movie's main character, or play main character, is a little confusing. Anyway, Augie, the actor, can't understand why his character in the play burns his hand on the girdle. It doesn't make sense to him, and it's something he cannot grasp, to the point that he even leaves the play to get his answer. In the same act, there is multiple scenes where the characters stop and talk to each other and express their feelings. These subtle things that have been building up throughout the movie are expressed in maybe 5-minute scenes where they describe their actions and reasons for them. Now this I normally rate as a negative, although I feel it's necessary to the play and the movie. In the play, by this point, the quarantine is driving everyone mad, and having people seem mad make them have mad decisions, like express their bottled up feelings easily and highlight their issues with others. In the movie, we see Augie's actor leave not understanding why his character makes his decision. Wrapped around all these scenes where the actors are expressed their motives and weaknesses, he never gets to know why he burns his hand. Even in the play, it appears to cross over to the real world, as Scarlett Johansson's character breaks character in the play and seems shocked that the actor playing Augie has really burnt his hand. I did say it was going to get complicated. I've been avoiding it up to this point, but I need to address it. The playception. What would happen if Wes Anderson came up with the idea of Inception? The answer would be Asteroid City. Now, I don't know if I'm viewing this the same way as everyone else, but the phrase "can't wake up if you don't fall asleep" has to have some connection to Inception, a movie about falling asleep and being robbed in your dreams. I know this is not the only dream-related movie. Nightmare on Elm Street has the same premise. However, to have that phrase repeated and having the movie based around a play inside of a play is just too similar to a dream inside of a dream. If I tried to explore the phrase from the context of the movie, it could simply be the actors have officially lost their minds.
If no TV and no beer make Homer something.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
It all just becomes too complex and they don't understand what's going on anymore.
Just to be clear. What is happening?
Essentially saying, if we don't think about it, we will be fine. It is Augie's search for answers and his admission from the final scene of the play that clarifies this to me. As someone who asked the questions, he woke up and couldn't understand what was going on around him, i.e. can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. As sometimes he asked the questions, he woke up and couldn't understand what was going on around him. Although that does not mean he had escaped. His appearance in the epilogue would suggest he went back to his character and also accepted the sentiment of "can't wake up if you don't fall asleep." However, if we look at this as part of the story, the phrase is chanted towards the audience watching the making of the play. Throughout the movie, the only person with a concept of the audience is the narrator, who on many occasions informs us with insane accuracy the events and locations and time of each scene in the making of the play. Although even he gets confused and appears in the lowest level of the play. This is getting a little too complicated. I'm just going to call the movie, the making of a play that we see as play level 1, and then the play that is being made as play level 2. Okay? That'll be fine. So, the narrator has from the first time entered play level 2 after being exclusively on level 1. Does this mean even he is affected by the confusion? The man whose whole job is to precisely tell us which level we are on is struggling where he is. Given that information, it is possible the chants are a warning to us, directed at us, the audience, from the narrator. But what could the warning be? My theory would suggest that Wes Anderson is trying to demonstrate how important it is not to get lost in the world. Don't wake up to the reality around us and focus on you. As soon as the actors begin to understand their reality, they are instantly lost and confused. They don't know what level they are on. Let me know what you think. Is it a warning about how we live our lives? A ripoff of Inception? Or letting Augie know that they are only lost in the play and he's the only one out? Finally, I think it's important to touch quickly on the score of the movie. The French composer, Alexandre Desplat, I don't speak French, that's how I think it's pronounced, but I'll just assume that's right. He perfectly encapsulates the world Wes Anderson is trying to set. I think it's a very crucial aspect of all his movies that are often overlooked when people discuss his aesthetic. The score allows us to become immersed in the colors and the fantasy of the world. One piece in particular I found to be so perfect for the scene it needed to be mentioned. The piece is called Viewing of the Astronomical Ellipses and plays when we first meet the alien and his ship. I'll try to play a snippet, but I don't know the rules. It essentially works in a way that the audience aren't able to tell if it's score or the sound of the alien spaceship, and cuts out once he flies off, leaving the audience in wonder, and then the beeps from the machine around them seamlessly come back in, and we know we're hearing the same as the characters again. It just showcases why Wes Anderson has done so many movies with him as his first choice composer. Every score that the man writes, you can instantly tell is going to be part of a Wes Anderson movie. I couldn't even describe the instruments to you that man plays, because it sounds, I just think I've never heard before. It's just perfect fantasy, aesthetically pleasing music that goes so well with the images he creates. If I was going to give this movie a score, I would say it's a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's one of the better films that he's made, and it's definitely an enjoyable movie to go see. It's not as weird as his other ones, although it still has its moments. But I think it can be put down more as comedic effect other than just being strange for the sake of being strange. And I think that works a lot better when it comes to his movies. All in all, I would say it's a very good movie, worth going to see, and an experience you won't soon forget. Right, so you made it to the end of the video. There's an announcement of the next person who's going to be joining as part of the Date Night Reviews team. And this will be Abby, and she will be part of the hosting now. It's going to be the two of us, and we're going to be discussing films together, and we're going to be doing the reviews together, and it'll essentially work as a team. However, we have differing views, and we'll do a combined score at the end of every video. I'm looking forward to doing it. That should be the next one, if everything works. See you in that one.